Hello, thank you for joining me today. And I would just like to start by saying that I haven't been on this kind of online space for, I think it's about a month I haven't uploaded for. And when I rechecked my YouTube just the other day, I had some new subscribers and some of my videos had a lot more views and stuff. So thank you if you've been engaging with my content, and I appreciate you joining this little thing here. And I'm also gonna start actually introducing myself in my videos, because I feel like I don't do that. I kind of just launch into whatever it is that I'm saying, which is, I suppose okay. But so my name is Shakti. I am sorry if you can hear that outside, psychic, mystic, whatever label you want to give it, but I'm an intuitive. I very much walk between worlds. And apologies if you can hear, I don't know why there's so much stuff going on outside my house right now, but anyway, so I wanted just to do a little bit of an update video, because I have kind of pulled back from the online space. I found it to be too much with everything else that I was dealing with as well. And I think that we have to honor our capacity. We cannot pour from an empty cup. And for me, it was just not really, I didn't feel it was an option to be sharing extensively online during this time. I have been dealing with some very challenging family stuff, which has kind of, I wouldn't say it's come out of the blue, but I have very much been in a space of really deep gratitude for a long time, that I hadn't had any kind of difficulties with my family, and things had been very kind of peaceful in that respect. And kind of prior to all of that peacefulness, I always felt like I was the person that had the difficulties and had the real intense challenges. And so I've been definitely for a good few years been in this real place of peace with my family. And all of a sudden everything just kind of erupted on both sides, my mum's side and my dad's side, and it has been such a heartbreaking time. And being the main Pisces of the family, I do have a little brother he's Pisces, cusp Aries. And if you are the Pisces in your family, you're probably the space holder. Not always, of course, but that's very much the case with me. And I have been having to navigate boundaries, energetic boundaries. And I also obviously hold space for clients and my mentorship clients, and I hold so much space. And I was really at a point where I was at my capacity and at my limit for what I could actually do. And it's a horrible feeling when you're a healer, you're a space holder, and you feel like you are struggling to do that, and so it was really important for me to take that space for myself, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. And so I had just over 2 weeks, was it maybe 3 weeks actually, off from sessions, and just had to really come back to myself. And I feel like in those times, for me anyway, what was happening was it felt just like everything around me was kind of crumbling so it could be rebuilt. And I had also been dealing with a lot of stuff coming up for me around, I've been sharing more about my, I don't like saying my past, because it makes it sound like it's some kind of almost like a negative, but I've been sharing more about my experiences, being a young woman, and in my late teens, entering into sex work, into prostitution. And I have I have my sort of Shakti, mystic, psychic, session holding, space holding world, and then I have my world of poetry where I'm a performer and a published poet and all of that kind of stuff. And although I had been more vocal in my Shakti space, I had never shared about that in my sort of poetry world, where I actually have a much bigger platform as well. And so I just, if there's one thing I know about myself, is that I trust my intuition. Trust thyself, know thyself. And the message coming through was so strong, like, it is time, and I'd kind of already burst through that veil in my Shakti world, and I realized it was time for me to do that in my sort of poetry performance world as well. And I've done a lot of interviews and podcasts and television stuff, and I've never touched on that because I didn't. It wasn't even like, oh, I don't feel ready or anything like that. I just didn't. I don't believe it was the right time, and I think that I was honoring that, and it just felt like it was just so clear, as clear as, you need to inhale and exhale. It was that clear that it was time for me to start being more vocal. And I don't think I had done an interview in that sort of poetry world for a little while, because I have been on a bit of a bit of a hiatus, and had kind of stepped back into performing and stuff just this year, really, end of 2023. I mean, I had stepped back into it, and so yeah, it just felt like, okay, no, this is time. Like, there isn't anything to be ashamed of, and these are the stories of women and girls, who are very much on the outskirts of societal acceptability, and that's what I was for a very long time. I defy anyone to grow up mixed race in Scotland and not feel like you are on the outskirts of societal acceptability, and so it's been this really deep journey of of acceptance of myself. And although I, for a long time, have been in a place of deep acceptance around my sort of history and my challenges, and I've done such deep healing, although of course, we're always, it's an ever unfolding rose, but it's anyone who has entered the world of healing with regards to sexual trauma knows it's like it goes so deep. And I have very much been on that path for a long time. I'm nearly 30, and I was involved in this stuff like 10 years ago. So I've very much been on a healing path for a long time. But along with that path, I haven't always been able to be open and share about that kind of stuff, because there has been that fear of judgment. And when I tell you that I used to have this like abject fear of people finding out that about me, like it used to haunt me. And if you have ever held a secret, that you don't want people to find out, that it has the capacity to eat away at you. And thankfully I had people that were close to me and who just saw me and saw my journey and saw like the courage that it took for me to leave those situations and those spaces and go, actually no, like I'm worth more than that, and I'm choosing a different life for myself, and who have like witnessed me and honored me and held space for me. I've been so blessed to have had that in my life. But kind of regardless of that, anytime I would meet a guy, or even just meeting new people, kind of, it's like I just always had this like burden on my back. And so this has, and although I haven't felt that overtly for a long time, I just felt like this, I feel like this has been like just another layer of stripping away that weight, you know, and just going like, no, like this is me, and this is an important, and it's almost like, you know, when you can't see the full picture, like I don't know all the reasons. I'm not sitting here with a list of 20 reasons why I know it's important for me to share that. I don't know, but I just know it's important for me to share that. And so I've had to honor that impulse, and it's coming from this deeply feminine place, which doesn't have all the logical step-by-step 1, 2, 3 ABC approach. It's just like, no, it's coming from within me, and it's saying this needs to be spoken, this needs to be shared, and that's it, you know. And in a world which is so you know, coming out of this patriarchal age and this distortion of masculinity, this distortion of femininity, sometimes it can be challenging to honor those sacred feminine impulses which are not logical or rational. And so it's felt like just me stepping into this deeper layer of vulnerability and openness, and you know, having all of these feelings coming up inside of me around like fear of what other people think, and, you know, that fear of being like an oversharer and all of this stuff, you know, and this thing in my head of like, you know, I don't see other people sharing about that kind of stuff. And it's like, no, because they're sharing their story. They're not going to share your story. That would be weird. You know, it's just like, you know, just sinking into those fears in a way that's like deeply holding space for yourself, and kind of unpicking apart the irrationality of those fears and the false identities that come with those fears. And so yeah, I have been through just so many death processes, and so much of it kind of rooted in the familial and rooted in the past, and then also I've been, I did a beyond quantum healing session, which is kind of similar to quantum healing hypnosis therapy. And I had actually done one of these before. And after I got back from Egypt, I felt really called to do one again. And it was just deeply kind of earth-shatteringly amazing. And that was kind of in the midst of all this stuff going on with my family, and it became very clear that there was some very like ancient medicine, you know, coming through me from this sort of feminine lineage, and all of these past life recollections of offering these particular womb kind of healings and womb remembrances. And so I've been diving really deep into that and offering a lot of these sessions, you know, for free, because I'm trying to or you know, at that time I was trying to just work out how it was gonna go, because the messages coming through were like, you know, just do it, you're gonna remember how to do it, you just have to do it. And so I kind of had to just do it and find kind of the channel and connect to the stream from which that medicine was coming through. And so that has been so beautiful, and I'm so excited to share. I think I'm going to start offering them professionally in probably February. And so yeah, there's been just so much that has been kind of coming through. And I think along with that, whenever you're kind of deepening into your own medicine, it's like your poison, your pain comes up related to that. And you know, it was also synchronized. It's like all of this womb healing, all of this these wounds related to being a woman, and something that, you know, experiencing something that is like predominantly affects women. And you know, that's something else that I want to and I'm feeling guided to share more about, is what kind of being involved in sex work does on the sort of spiritual level, and also why women are kind of pulled into those roles from a spiritual past life kind of an ancestral lens and perspective, and with a view to kind of creating space and healing within that kind of section of society, and create a kind of broader understanding around it as well, and I think that we're in this time of like, there's so much of this like girl boss culture and this kind of this sort of like notion of like, well, if you're getting your money, do it any way you can, and that's I think very detrimental and very harmful to women. And so yeah, I'm kind of working out how it's gonna look, but expect a video on that sometime soon. And I'm also I think my next video is gonna be a healing transmission, which I'm really excited to share as well, which I will record probably tomorrow. So that is kind of what's been going on with me. And yeah, I'm just seeing if there's anything else that I feel called to share. I think just, honoring your capacity, that's been such a big lesson for me recently, is just like cutting out the noise and going, this is what I can handle at this time, and that's it. and not taking on anybody else's projections or pressure or ideas of what I should be doing right now, and just really honoring where I've actually been at and what I've been able to hold within myself. So thank you so much for tuning in to this video, and yeah, I look forward to sharing more. Happy New Year if you celebrate this new year. I'm not super big on this Gregorian calendar, although I do feel the timeline shift with this year. I didn't feel it so much last year, but I do feel the sort of timeline shift that has occurred. And yeah, I'm more of an astrological I'd more like to view it from that astrological perspective of the sort of spring equinox, and yeah, but Happy New Year nonetheless, and I will see you in my next video.